Welcome everyone, this is David Erhan. Today I wanted to make a compilation of No Reason and Zero Theology's worst moments for this year. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, this is a YouTube channel that used to be about inviting Christian scholars and academics to talk about Christianity, but the reality is that this is a low-level Roman Catholic apologetics channel that is fervently anti-Orthodox, and that has that kind of an agenda against us. This video will illustrate to you the incompetency, the ill will, and the open admittance of heresy from these people. What you're about to see here is not opinion. This is not commentary. It's not just based on mere rumors, but it's going to be based on evidence and facts over long history of this year. So I want to first start by saying that if you're someone that purely focuses on argumentation and logic, this is not really the video for you. I do think the content in this video is going to be relevant because it will help you understand the type of people that we're dealing with. But if you really are just kind of like, I just look at the arguments kind of a guy and I just want to learn, I don't care about any of this kind of stuff, then I respect that. And I will recommend to you Ubi Petrus, his YouTube channel, also his blog. I have some videos, of course, that deal with Roman Catholic arguments, and of course I would recommend Jay Dyer if you want a purely argumentative approach to Roman Catholic theology, ecclesiology, so on and so forth. This will obviously deal with Roman Catholic beliefs a little bit, but more so how these people choose to express their defense of their religion. And the first thing I want to talk about is, and to me personally, this is not that big of a deal compared to what else we're going to be talking about here. But Ubi Petrus actually documented clear evidence of plagiarism from one of the members of this group, shall we say? And now, plagiarism can be defined in different ways. There's different forms of plagiarism. There's the intended plagiarism, where you generally do intend to steal another person's work. Then there is kind of what some will say accidental plagiarism, where it is not intentional, but it is still plagiarism. And in this case, it is much more so accidental. This person doesn't really know about plagiarism or how it works in the academic world. Anyone who's gone to university, anyone who has studied academic writing will easily know that that you fall into play. Even if you cite a source, if you don't cite it in a proper way, that is, if you don't clearly showcase that, for example, if you're paraphrasing someone else's words, you need to clearly showcase that it is not you saying these things, that it is not your idea, that part of your work is not really your work, but it's someone else's work. Whereas, as we see here, Ubi Petrus points out that this No Reason and Zero Theology person merely says that the readers can consult. That's not really a proper citation. So this showcases some form of academic incompetence from this person. Next, I want to talk about is the general response to Ubi Petrus's apologetical work from these people. And here's an example where you have No Reason and Zero, this person from No Reason and Zero Theology saying that evil suspicion is a sin, but then pretty much implying and suggesting the idea that Ubi Petrus is a P3DO. Now, some people might say, well, David, you're just misunderstanding, or that's a misrepresentation. He's not saying that Ubi Petrus is a P3DO. He's just saying because he's anonymous, we just don't know what kind of a person he is. And that is really not a fair defense, because what if, for example, you were talking positively about someone and then someone came up to you and say, hey, I don't know that person's personal life, so I just don't know if I can trust that person, right? For all I know, this person might be in an illegitimate marriage, and I care about that kind of stuff. What if someone made an argument about like that about someone that you consider to be important? I mean, you will think that that's not a good argument. Just because you don't know everything about this person doesn't mean that you can just you just have to assume the worst, right? And even if you know the name and how of a person and how they look, that doesn't mean that you know what kind of a person they are or who they are, right? You just don't, that's not enough to know about, enough to know what kind of a person someone is. So it is really an illegitimate statement, and again, it's in horrible taste, especially against someone who I don't think deserves to be accused in such a manner. But something that is more important than that is the open admittance and even proliferation, I will say, and defense of heresy. We already know from the image of the left that a member of the No Reason and Zero Theology crew sympathizes with Nestorius, but he's not alone in this. In fact, a teammate of his states that the Assyrian Church of the East is correct in their Christology, and that he will go as far as to debate to defend their position. Now, if you don't know what the Assyrian Church of the East is, or the Church of the East in general is, the Church of the East is the Nestorian Church that rejects the Third Ecumenical Council and the Ecumenical Councils afterwards. Now, some again will question this, arguing that the Church of the East is actually not Nestorian anymore. They're not Nestorian. Arguing that they're Nestorian is just unfair, and that it was just a misunderstanding and whatever. So I will be using two Church of the East sources to prove that from Church of the East's official sources, we can illustrate in many cases that the Church of the East does actually hold to a heretical Christology. I will be using Dr. Mar Eprem Mulken, who's a metropolitan in the Church of the East in India, and then the Book of Marganita, which is a catechetical book from the 13th century, I believe. So from Dr. Mar Eprem Mulken's article, he states that Nestorian Christology, in fact, is a necessity. He argues that it's a necessity. He says the necessity for Nestorian Christology becomes inevitable when we think of the greatest position ascribed to Virgin Mary in the Roman Catholic Church. The fear expressed by Nestorius against the use of Theotokos should not be ignored. It is one of the positive contributions of Nestorius to have exposed the potential danger of this title. And then he says that the Christological formula of this church, that is the Church of the East, is that of the prosopic union, rejecting the formula of hypostatic union accepted by both Catholics and the Eastern Orthodox churches. So he rejects the hypostatic union here and defends the prosopic union. Now, for those, some people might ask, what is a prosopon? Well, I'm not going to get too much into the history of the term prosopon, but in Christian historical terminology, it means face, it means appearance, and it also has the meaning of person. And that is how it is used here, right? So there's a union of persons, and thus there is one prosopon because there is a prosopic union. That is what's being argued here. And then he repeats that he refuses to call Mary Theotokos. Now, once we get into the catechetical book, the Book of Marganita, it becomes even clearer. In this book, it states that the Church of the East believes that Christ is two natures, which is correct. Two pneume, that is hypostasis, which is incorrect. We believe that Christ is only one hypostasis. But here you can clearly see that for them, Christ is two hypostases and one will, which again, we reject. But Church of the East states that Christ only has one will. So not only are they Nestorian, they're also monothelite. For those who don't know, even in the Roman Catholic Church, this is heretical because in the Catechism of the Catholic Church, basing on the decrees of the Sixth Ecumenical Council, it is dogmatic to believe that Christ possesses two wills. But we can see here that the Church of the East believes Christ possesses only one will. And so, thus, I think I have illustrated quite efficiently in a well-befitting manner that the No Reason and Zero Theology crew, in fact, is supporting a Nestorian church, and they are defending a Nestorian theology. And the irony here is the person who is defending the Church of the East is a Mariology expert. He's supposed to be this Mariology pro. How can you be a Mariology pro and then defend the Nestorians? I mean, that just doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, we're talking about the people who deny that she's the mother of God. But we can clearly see that the No Reason and Zero Theology crew, the reason why they're called No Reason and Zero Theology is because they have zero theology. They make basic theological mistakes that make them fall into very basic errors. Another error that they fall into is in the form of rejecting Roman Catholic dogma. Here you see No Reason and Zero Theology state that they do not worship the heart, the physical heart, But Pope Pius XII in Heretis Aquas, in many places in Heretis Aquas, by the way, this is just one of the examples. I have an entire video talking about this topic. Pope Pius XII, and this is a document the Roman Catholics have to accept, by the way, explicitly states that Roman Catholics, in worshiping the Sacred Heart of Jesus, they are worshiping a physical heart. So, I'm sorry, but the point here I'm making is these people are defending the Roman Catholic Church, but they then deny the teachings of the Roman Catholic Church. How are you going to defend the church whose teachings that you occasionally deny just for apologetical purposes? It absolutely makes no sense. Let's move on to how these people conduct themselves, shall we? A couple of months ago, Jay Dyer was going to appear on Gospel Simplicity's channel in order to talk about Orthodox Christian theology, and he did indeed do that. But when that announcement was made, and he was going to appear on that channel, and the video was being premiered, No Reason and Zero Theology, in fact, try to cancel him, try to get rid of him, and try to convince Gospel Simplicity to not have him on. Now, we don't have those requests anymore since they were deleted. But what we do have is the after effect. And as you can see, even to this day, in the comments section, you can see many people talking about No Reason and Zero Theology, trying to cancel Jay from talking about Orthodox theology. It's not as if he's going to be explicitly talking about how Roman Catholicism is wrong. They don't even want him to talk about Orthodox Christian theology. That should tell you something about these people, really. Now, I've saved the best for last. I've said the best for last. For a couple of months, there's been a suspicion that there are, what has been suspicion is the intent, but there's been a couple of accounts, suspiciously made accounts, a lot of them on July, that they make the accounts, they follow the, No Reason and Zero Theology and people affiliated with them, and then they post about how No Reason and Zero Theology is the reason why they became Roman Catholic and that they left Orthodoxy and they're against Orthodoxy, and they make these posts against Jay Dyer. As you can see, these newly made accounts that are instantly inactive afterwards, all of them attacking Jay Dyer, and they're all following No Reason and Zero Theology. And so this was very suspicious. These accounts can't be of real people. I mean, you'd think that they will have some form of longevity, but even if it had some form of longevity, you'd think that it will be a bit more organic, like it will be a bit more organic instead of just instantly going to the jugular the moment the account is made. Especially those who use Twitter regularly will know exactly what I'm talking about. This is another example that I'm referring to, an account made in May 2020, and it only follows No Reason and Zero Theology. This was noted by people, Orthodox Christians in Twitter, where they noticed these accounts as well. So it's not just us, but other Orthodox Christians were starting to have some suspicions regarding this, and they had the same idea that this was very suspicious. But the climax of this, and what is really insane, is this particular account, a priest of Christ, and this account pretty much advertised itself as a Orthodox priest who wanted to become Roman Catholic. And you can see from the way that this person is talking about, I mean, this person is talking as if No Reason and Zero Theology saved his life or something like that. I mean, calling himself schismatic and all that kind of stuff. And this was, again, suspicious, but what was even more interesting is that this account not only was affiliated with No Reason and Zero Theology very strongly, in fact, some of these accounts were retweeted by these people, so it's not as if they didn't recognize them. Some of these accounts were retweeted by these people. And this person who argued that he was a real person posted a phone number. Now, this phone number is public. It is publicly, you can find it online quite easily. But still, due to the respect of you'll understand why I did not include the phone number here. But he posted a phone number, claimed it was his, and that asking the person he's talking to talk to him about this. Now, we've looked into the phone number and we have done some research. We have contacted the person who has the phone number. Again, the phone number is in public and that person's name is also in public. And again, out of respect to that person, although again, even if I included his real name, I don't think it will be a problem because it is publicly available information. Everything I've just pointed out here is publicly available information, by the way. But we traced that phone number. We found the person who has that phone number. We emailed that person. Again, publicly available information. Not only the phone number is there, but the email address is also there. So we emailed this person and we asked them if that is their Twitter account. And the person said, no, this is, by the way, an Orthodox priest, an actual Orthodox priest, saying that this is not him, that he's being impersonated. So this Sockpuppet account was impersonating an actual Orthodox priest by pretending to have a phone number that is actually not his, but someone else's, and acting like it is his phone number. I mean, you can already look from there's the Soviet imagery from the avatar that this is, very questionable anyways. But we have confirmed with basic research that this person was being impersonated. Now, this account at the moment, by the way, a priest of Christ, is not deleted on Twitter, so that's an admission of guilt. But what do you expect in reaction? What do you expect? No Reason is Zero Theology. What do you expect them say to this? Will you will expect them, if they had nothing to do with this, they will be the first ones to be, what is going on, right? You will expect them to be the first ones to start questioning this, because think of it this way. Let's say you're a popular person online, and you have a bunch of made up accounts who just constantly praise you, but these are not real people. It's very obvious that they're not real people. I mean, and these people. Would you retweet them and like their posts, or would you start asking questions? Will you say, what's going on over here, right? What did No Reason is Zero Theology do? They accused us of, quote, doxing this priest who's not real. This is not a real person. He's impersonating another person. And they claimed us, as you can see, I can't believe these people actually tried to dox these priests. It's totally laughable. And the funny thing is, even people from his camp are starting to realize something is fishy, and they're coming to the same conclusions that I'm starting to come to, where they're suggesting, it's really strange that these accounts pop up and just, say these things. And I just have no words, just like looking at this and seeing the reaction, right? Because the reaction is much more than just that. The reaction is just just threats as well. As you can see here in the bottom right image, No Reason is Zero Theology actually threatened Jay Dyer to pursue him in court over this. Sorry, but you're not gonna be winning a lawsuit like that. There's no lawsuit that you're gonna win here. Then they make up, right? They literally invent some orthobros who make threats against them. By the way, there's no evidence for it. And that's the interesting part. They don't present any evidence really for this, whereas this video is full of evidences and publicly available information. And in fact, in the bottom left, you can see from a YouTube community post that No Reason is Zero Theology, in fact, wants people to send them screenshots of so-called acts of defamation, not only from Jay, but also from Perry Robinson. What does Perry Robinson have anything to do with this, right? It just goes to show that these people are just completely unhinged, very incompetent, and, as you've seen here, have been promoters of heresy. And to further illustrate another evidence, the posts on the bottom right and bottom left are now deleted. You can't access them on Twitter, on YouTube, so that should tell you something. And I'm still surprised that people are actually willing to listen to these really just spiritually unwell people who also just don't seem to have anything going for them in the realm of theology. I hope it's not the same case in life, but I won't know about anything like that. But I suppose what is trying to being told in this video has been told already. That is that these people are incompetent. They're promoters of heresy, and they make empty threats, and that's what they always do it. And really, I don't expect anything different to happen for the next year, unfortunately. But this is all I have for today. Thank you for watching this. If you want theology content, my channel is full of them as well. And may you have a blessed new year. May we all have a blessed new year. And I will see you all in the next year. Thank you for watching this. I'm David Erhan. I'm signing out. May God be with you all. Thanks for watching.